Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today we're going to be checking out the Blue Ox diode wiring kit. So when it comes to setting up a flat toe, your wiring is going to be a very important component, and it's going to be responsible for transferring the lighting functions from the back of your motorhome to the back of your vehicle. And with a kit like this, it's going to provide you with all those necessary signals. Your left turn, your right turn, your tail lights, as well as your brake lights. There are a couple of different ways to achieve getting those signals back here, and a diode kit like this one is hands down my favorite way. And I say that because once they're installed, it's super easy to set up. Essentially you're just going to have to plug a cable in from the front of your vehicle into the back of your motorhome, and you're good to go, right? So ease of use is definitely up there, and the reliability as well. As long as you set everything up right, it's pretty rare that you run into any issues with diode wiring like the Blue Ox, for example. As compared to another way to get signals back here, say magnetic lighting, for example. All right, with those magnetic lights, the base is magnetic and they'll stick to the side of your vehicle, and in some cases it's not even possible, right? A lot of these late model cars the panels are starting to be made from aluminum, so that's one downside. And then you got something rubbing on your paint and stuff. It's just not ideal, at least in my opinion. I wouldn't like that. But not to mention, you're gonna have to set them up every single time you want to flat toe, and then take them off when you're done flat towing. So it definitely adds some time to the process, running a wire up every time. And then, not to mention too, with those, when you're over the road and whatnot, and you're trying to store stuff, by using diodes like this that stay with the vehicle, it's going to be one less thing you're going to have to worry about keeping track of. I mentioned that ease of use, and this is a perfect example on how it can be set up. Just take your cable, plug that end into the front of your towed vehicle. The other end will go into the back of your RV, and that's it. Now with this particular kit, it does not come included with a umbilical cable like this or a 6-way round connector plug. So that is something you're going to have to pick up separately. What we're using today is made by Blue Ox. It's the cable and the connector plug. And I think they do that so you can kind of pick and choose what style of cable that you want to run. And what's going to help determine that is what style of tow bar that you have. So for example, today we have an etrailer.com SD tow bar. It has this metal rod that runs along the side and is designed for a coiled cable to kind of sit on it and give it some support. You'd want to use a coiled cable like this too if your tow bar doesn't have any channels in it, meaning little slots on the side that are designed to run your cable through there. So if you don't have those, this will be your best bet, right? Because it'll stay up off the ground when you're going straight and then stretch out when you make them turns. Now with that said, if you end up getting a tow bar that has those channels in it, you got a couple of options. This is just what I had on hand here. This is a hybrid style of cable. This one's actually made by Roadmaster, where the portion towards the motorhome is coiled and then the rest of it is straight. That way the straight portion can run through them channels. They also make ones that are just completely straight. So a couple of choices there as far as that goes. So the big question, you're probably wondering, is this kit going to work with your particular vehicle? And it is a universal kit, so chances are really good it will for the vast majority of you out there. Now, with that said, there are certain circumstances where this kit may not work. And that's definitely where you want to dig in, do a little research, and figure out what your particular vehicle requires. Like I said, you probably have a better chance of it working than not, but still be diligent and figure that out. And I say it because it's hard to speak to every single vehicle out there, but for example, off the top of my head, some of these more late model vehicles, like the late model Chevy Equinox, for example, it's pretty common. Those have what's called variable voltage lighting, and so they use one wire essentially to control all your lighting signals. And so, you know, with something like that, that's where you'd want to use the smart diode kit, which is made by Roadmaster. So that's kind of few and far between. Or on some of these more late model Jeeps, they have a park sense feature, which you know, changes something up with the tail light. So again, be diligent, do your research. Chances are really good though. The kit is probably going to work with your particular vehicle. So one of the things that does separate this kit from some of the others out there is you get sufficient wiring. So the main roll is going to be 26 foot long. So that should work, you know, with full-size trucks even. And even if you fall short, they give you a couple extra bundles that you can use to extend or jump wires over or whatever you need to do. So that's pretty convenient there. I don't think I've ran into a scenario yet where I had to get more wiring than what's included with the kit, which is nice. That's not always the case with some of the other style of kits. Something else too is the diode. I'm a fan of them. They're really compact and don't take up a whole lot of space at all. They almost feel like a hard rubber material too, so I feel like that should help keep corrosion at bay and things like that. Which, for example, on our Jeep today, this is a kit we got installed. It wasn't really a huge deal because you have a ton of room to work behind the tail light there. But that's not always the case. On some vehicles, you just don't have the room, and so every little bit definitely adds up and counts. And what the diode's even going to do in the first place, okay, so this is going to go in line with your tail light wiring, your factory wiring. And the diode is designed to prevent any backfeeding or anything like that. So because the kit uses a diode, you're not going to have to worry about, you know, the tow bar wiring damaging or hurting or compromising your factory wiring in any way. Aside from that, you know, a pretty simple kit, not really a whole lot to it there, but it's something that you're going to want to work every time. And like I said before, this is a really reliable kit. As far as getting these installed goes, you know, every vehicle is going to be set up a little bit different, but the concept's the same. You'll have to tie in and pick up the your signals. Usually it's more time consuming than anything, just because you have to route all those wires and everything, but something that you have to do one time, and then you get to enjoy the benefit of having a super easy setup from there on out. So, you know, if you're looking for a good way to transfer those signals from the back of your coach to the back of your vehicle, this is definitely a kit worth considering.